Hey everybody, Michael Hellickson here with Club Wealth, and I am so excited today. You can't even begin to imagine. I have world-class agent Jesse Zagorsky with me today, and I got to tell you, this guy is no joke. He is literally, I kid you not, he is probably the #1 agent in the country when it comes to working with buyers. I'm not aware of anybody else that's killing it at a higher level than Jesse is when it comes to working with buyers, knowing how to get them in the system, knowing how to convert those leads, knowing how to get them on a buyer agency agreement. We're going to talk to Jesse about that today. And by the way, Jesse shared with me just before our interview, he's got 41 buyers on a buyer agency agreement right now that he's currently working with. How would you like to be able to do that? Jesse's going to tell us how in a moment, and all kinds of other great stuff that Jesse's doing. So without any further ado, Jesse, welcome. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, Michael. It's going to be hard to match your energy and enthusiasm. I love it. I'm sitting here, I don't know if you can tell on the webcam, I'm blushing. I'm literally hearing you say these amazing things about how cool I am and just going, wow, that sounds great. I'd like to meet you. This is fun.
That's awesome. So, Jesse, here's the thing. You and I have known each other for a long, long time. We've been coaching together for, on and off for 5-6 years now. And I got to tell you, man, you're an impressive guy, period, end of story. You're a super impressive guy. Tell us where you're at, what market you're in, what company you're with, just give us the details on Jesse real quick.
Cliff Notes version. I am in San Diego, California. I am been doing this for about 14 years. I own my own brokerage. My business partner was actually my mother up until about April 1st. We just transitioned the business. She is stepping back. She is now becoming just an agent again. So now this is my business 100%. So it's my brokerage, independent boutique brokerage, which I find helps to do, nothing against the big majors. I love them, but it lets us do some flexible things that we can do because we are a small independent boutique brokerage. But yeah, I've been doing this for 14 years, had a bunch of different coaches, and I'm going to now say nice things about you. I've coached with you a few times, and you are so insightful in my business always that I just really appreciate it and appreciate the time and feedback you give to me. So thanks. Totally mutual.
My pleasure. Absolutely, man. Hey, it's symbiotic relationship, that's for sure. Well, Jesse, let's get right into it. I'm looking at my notes. We talked a little bit ahead of time about some of the things that I want to make sure we cover today, or that we want to make sure we cover today. One of them was, in terms of working with buyers, how do you get your buyer leads? Where are those coming from?
Good question. Mainly, I buy them. And I know that this is not your favorite answer because we've talked about this many times, but the quickest, easiest way to jumpstart a buyer side business is to buy leads from online sources. We are now we went the opposite way of most companies. Usually you start with listings and sign calls. We started buying online leads first, and then now we're backing into, as listings increase, doing some of the stuff you've been telling me, nicely reminding me, giving me a little gentle push that you should be converting or should be generating more of your own buyer leads without spending money on them, Jesse. So thank you for that reminder. But we buy a lot of them, mainly from Realtor.com and Zillow. The pre-foreclosure leads are the two sources we buy the most of. And then we now have also sign calls. We do some direct mail. But I'd say the majority of the leads coming in, we get, I think about 300 leads a month coming in, and most of those are from the leads we purchased.
Okay. So first of all, just to set the record straight, I'm okay with buying leads. I actually, in fact, recommend that people buy leads. I think it's great. I just think that for most agents, when they start off and they're new in the business, they don't necessarily have a lot of money to go out and buy leads. And so for those agents, they're going to need to go out and they're going to do open houses, or they're going to do, cold calls or expires business, or whatever. They're going to do other things to generate business without having to write a check. That being said, when you can get to that level where you're at, Jesse, and you're able to go ahead and buy some leads, that's a huge advantage. And now it allows you to be scalable, which you're not when it's just you making personal contact. That's not scalable.
Right, and that's exactly it. It's a scalable system. So when I started, really this newest version of my business was about a year and a half ago. I started off just buying leads and working them myself, right? So I was I don't know if people watching, if they have inside salespeople or work them on their own, or they give the leads over to their agents. So I was the inside salesperson. I was the actual agent, and I quickly realized it's not a scalable model. So I shifted back to the same team structure I had a few years ago, which was having a full-time inside salesperson who handles all the inbound leads. I've got a team of buyer's agents or sales agents that work with me. That's a scalable system. If you're doing everything on your own, it might actually be more profitable. It could be more profitable running things on your own. I'm torn on that one, but it's really hard for life balance. And you and I have talked about that enough times. That's always something high up on my list, is making sure life balance is good.
That's huge, and it's true, because if it's all you all the time, the reality is if you take a week off, a month off, whatever, your business tanks, and it's just this roller coaster income, and that sucks. I mean, let's face it, and that's why it's really, I would rather be a buyer's agent on somebody else's team than be the Lone Ranger myself.
And that's what I'm saying, that it actually could be more profitable in a way, just run this on your own, buy leads, run them yourself. Or you could at first make more money just being an agent on someone else's team, but then when you get over that level, so there's a certain upfront cost that as you scale up, once you tip that point in profitability, then yeah, you're going to make more money running a team. But there's a long ramp-up period where you were kind of looking at my numbers going, wow, you sure are spending a lot of money for what you, and then slowly the conversion started to catch up. So
yeah, no, you're right about that, and that's a whole nother, we could do an hour-long thing just on profitability and running your P&L profit, properly, and but that's a whole other discussion. But the other thing you mentioned was, the transition from working as a buyer's agent on somebody's team to becoming your own team leader and that sort of thing. And I just want to throw it out there that may not be the move for all of the people watching this. Some people watching this might just say, you know what, I'm content making $250,000, $300,000 a year as a buyer's agent, not having all the headache, not having all the responsibility, not having the overhead, not having the risk. I just want to make my $250,000, $300,000 a year and be a part of a team, have somebody else handling all the back end stuff. I'm good.
It's really hard if you've never done the other side of it. So when I am looking to recruit agents for my team, I typically do look for agents who have worked on their own for some period of time, or who have done their own lead generation, have done their own marketing, because then they kind of understand that mindset of, oh, this is the value that the team is bringing to me, right? Because there's no right or wrong. It's just, if you've never done it, you think, oh, that's so easy, let's do that. And then you realize you get into it and go, wow, this costs a lot more money, takes a lot more time, there's a lot more headaches. We can talk about some of the issues with vendors and things like that, but it's just figuring out what's important to you in your career. What do you want to do, right? Yeah. What sort of balance do you want?
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree 100%. All right, so now you talked about lead sources and how you're getting some of these leads. So here's the place. I think getting leads is one thing, but if I'm a team leader watching this, I'm probably saying to myself, hey, I got lead generation figured out. My problem is I can't get my buyer's agents on my team converting these things at a high enough level, and I feel like I'm throwing money away on leads. So how do I get that conversion happening at a higher level?
Well, they probably are throwing money away. Because I did it too. I threw away a ton of money until I dialed it in. The single biggest tip I can give in terms of converting these leads, whether it's a sign call or an online lead, is you have to change your mindset, whether you are the one doing it yourself or your agent. You have to be in a client-first mentality. Yes, we want them to do things like get pre-qualified and tell us what they're looking for so we can do a good job for them. But the average agent who handles an online lead puts them through the grinder. Right? You and I have joked about this. Like you get the call, and it's almost as if, it's almost as if they don't want to go meet the person, but really I think a lot of times they don't want to meet the person. It's too much work to go meet them. So how long have you been looking for? Oh, well, how you pre-qualified? How much money do you have? Do you have a job? What's your blood type? Can you give me your social security number? What about your credit card? No, people are so used to it in our society right now. They just want instant everything. So if you get on the phone and your goal is to give them whatever they want, yes, then you can still ask the questions you need, and we can talk about some of that. But it's just that mindset. If you do that, it also feels better as an agent. You don't feel like you're pushing this person over and over again, right? You don't feel like you're like this. You feel good about yourself. You're just trying to do a great job and help people find a good deal on a house they love. That's it.
That's right.
It's easy.
Well, it's funny. Recently there was a post in the Club Wealth Real Estate Agent Mastermind on Facebook, and there was some discussion. I'll call it discussion That's putting it mildly. But there was some discussion going back and forth. I recently was out looking in an area that Tara and I thought maybe we'd buy a second home or move eventually, whatever. And we were out there, and I was waiting for this agent to, he agreed. He actually did a great job, answered the phone, which was huge, right? Made the lead call. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, I can't, like a real estate agent that answers his phone. I mean, it was mind blowing. He answered his phone. And then I asked him, I said, so, hey, is the house vacant? It was a vacant house, it's this nice, home on acreage and all this. And I said, okay, well, cool. Well, while we're waiting for you, we'll just take a look around the property while we're waiting for you. And he says, oh no, you can't do that. I said, what do you mean I can't? Like, I'll just take a look around while I'm waiting for you. I'll just look around the outside. Oh no, you can't do that. I said, well, why not? He said, well, it's private property. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? I mean, seriously. Well, and here's the crazy part. So on the Club Wealth Real Estate Agent Mastermind group in Facebook, we had all this conversation happening about this, and I had a couple of really high-producing clients that are, they're coaching clients at Club Wealth chime in, and their response was what I imagine your response would probably be, which is, absolutely, go take a look around. I'll be there as quick as I can get there, enjoy it.
The only question for me, though, is, was it occupied?
No, it was vacant.
Oh, as long as in San Diego, if it's a vacant house, yeah, go walk around it. Like, if it was an occupied property, I thought maybe that would be the only reason why he would want. No, 2.5 acres, go wild. Just watch out for snakes.
Actually, it was 7 acres. It was 7 acres. Yeah, and so it just cracks me up. It's like this guy was the sales prevention guy, and but what really made me even more sad was the response of some of the folks on the group. I had some agents that I don't know necessarily some of their production, and so I can't really speak to their production level. But it was there were some that I did, and I can tell you that it was night and day. The responses I got from agents that are, I'm going to call them newer in the business, agents that weren't necessarily producing at as high a level, and the agents that were producing at a high level or that are producing at a high level, the responses were completely different. The ones that were producing at a lower level consistently were saying, oh no, you can't let them look around. It's, you got to have an agent with you and yada yada. And the ones that were the highest producers were inevitably consistently saying, no, go look at it. Absolutely. Walk around. I'll get there as soon as I can, yada, yada, yada. And they were just service, which brings me to, before we wrap up on the converting that lead to an appointment, the piece that I wanted to touch on with you, because I know you're really big on customer experience. And I can tell you that as a potential client, I felt like that experience was not one I ever wanted to repeat. And I was not, when I met this guy, there was no rapport. I felt like, we were doing this the whole time. Go ahead, speak to it.
So here's the thing. So first of all, it's interesting that you were out of the property and you were ready for him to come see you right then. And I love that he was able to do that, to come out and meet you. At the same time, on my team, we have learned that we rarely take same-day appointments. So everyone listening says, wait, Jesse, you're really big on client experience, but yet you don't take same-day appointments. And this is why. This is what we've learned. If someone is truly motivated and ready to go, and they really have this scheduling issue and they can only make it work today, we will absolutely make it happen. But 9 times out of 10, the people who are like, come meet me right now, are the people who, we call them Pop-Tarts. Have you ever heard that? Like, they want you to open the door, and I can't take credit for that. I got that from some other good friends that use that one. But they're Pop-Tarts, right? You open the door, you look at the house, they're in there for about 30 seconds, and they're gone. And you've just gone, what happened? So the way we convert leads is we want to establish some other value to meeting us other than being someone to open a door. If you want someone to open a door, you can hire a $10 an hour person to just run around and open doors. As professional real estate professionals, if your goal is to create client experience, you have to set up a time where you can actually go over what they're looking for, right? Does the person want to sit down and talk to you at first? No, right? Because they think they want to see a house. They think they want you to open the door. What they really want is for someone to help them figure out how do they find their dream home and how do they get a good deal on it. So you need to make the bridge. That's the whole, and we can go into scripting, whatever, I don't know how much time we have, but go into whatever scripting you want. The idea is to make a bridge between, I'm not just a door opener, I'm someone who's going to offer all this value. And then once you do that, they want to meet with you, right? So you say, take a look around the property today. Tell you what, you know what? My schedule's actually booked up this afternoon. What's your schedule like tomorrow? Once this is after you've established value as to why they want to meet with you. our schedule's booked for today. Why don't we get together tomorrow? You want to do 10 o'clock or is 2 o'clock better? We can go back and take a look at the property again, but do your thing today. Take a look as much as you want, and then let's get together tomorrow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that you and I have talked about in the past, and we talked about how agents often, like you were saying a minute ago, they're the sales prevention people, right? They want to make them jump through hoops. What's your blood type? What's your social security number? Yada, yada, yada. But what you do a very good job of, and I would say better than anybody else that I'm aware of, is establishing rapport and giving them what they want, right? Somebody by the time they get on the phone with you, what do they want to know? They want to know the fatal four that you never market, but you always got to be ready to tell them over the phone, voice to voice. Bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, and price. Right. That's how you get them to reach out to you to begin with. Now that you've got them to reach out to you, what do they want next? Well, assuming it's a house they're interested in, they want to see the inside of the house. And most people, they just make it super hard. Well, you got to talk to my lender first and get pre-qualified. And, the seller doesn't, no, don't lie. Don't tell them the seller requires this or that or whatever, pre-qual and all this other stuff. Set the appointment. And that's one thing that you and I have role played over and over again with the scripting is that you're just like, get the appointment, get the appointment, get the appointment. So talk to us about that.
It's easier to unbook an appointment than to book one. And so this is something I've done for years. The sales manager on my team, who's also our inside sales guy, we role play this all the time. We talk about this all the time. The mindset is, if you're thinking, do I want to set this appointment or not? Do I want to set this appointment or not? And if you're an agent watching this and you're actually taking your own leads, think about this if this ever makes sense to you. If you set an appointment with a client, that means you actually have to go meet them. And if you are feeling busy or stressed that day, right. I know I'm guilty of this, you're just less likely to even want to go do it because if I set the appointment, then I actually have to go meet them. It sounds so silly, but it's true. We're all guilty of it. So if all you're thinking is, by the end of this call, all I want to do is set an appointment. What's my next step? I want to connect deeply. I want to figure out what's going on with them. But really, I don't want to get into too much depth. I just want to set an appointment. I want to get in, get out, set the appointment, and that's it. You need to illustrate enough value so that they want to meet with you. There's only two reasons why people wouldn't ever want to meet with you. They either feel threatened or they don't understand the value. That's it. It's one or the other. And everything you can come up with rolls onto one of those two things. So as long as you take the pressure off, it doesn't have to be today. They may think, I need to go see this right now. I'm Michael Hellickson. I'm buying a 7-acre property. Give you a hard time. But if he did a good job on the phone, would you have come back the next day or the next? Of course you would have, right?
Right.
I mean, and maybe if it was out of the area for you and that really was your only time, well then yeah, he's going to drop what he's doing and come see you because it's that important. But he makes that call after booking the appointment.
Right. No, you're absolutely right about that. Okay, so so we're talking about lead conversion now. So I get the lead that comes in. Let's just role play this real quick. You know how I love putting you on the spot with role plays. So only because I know you're great at it. So let's role play this. I'm a lead. I'm a Realtor.com lead, and you're calling me back. Away we go. So ring. Hello, this is Michael.
Go. So I'm going to say before we role play this, I actually knew you were going to put me on the spot, so I have a script in front of me. And the reason I'm saying this, I have made thousands of these calls, literally, and I still keep a script in front of me. I can do it without a script because I can do it while I'm driving and eating a sandwich and putting on makeup at 75 miles an hour down the road. Well, I need more makeup, but that's what I'm saying. You can do a million things at once and get these things done once you've internalized it. At the same time, I always keep a script in front of me. So if I'm looking off camera over here, that's because I'm looking at the script on my other monitor here. So the intro for every Realtor.com, plus if you're on the phone, they don't know if you're looking at it anyway, right? Whatever makes you feel comfortable. I choose to stand up. Some people sit. So you call me. So ring. You're called, or I'm calling you back usually. Realtor.com. So ring.
Hey, this is Michael.
Hey, Michael. It's Jesse, Z-Team Real Estate. I'm calling you back about 123 Main Street. Do you have any specific questions about that home, or do you just want to set up a time to see it?
I just really want to know the price.
Just want to know the price. Perfect. So it was actually on the website on Realtor.com where you were looking. They had the price right on there. It was. Let me pull it up. Give me one sec.
Is it still available though? I mean, that's because I know a lot of times the price is wrong on these things, and sometimes you call and it's not for sale anymore. And
that's such a frustrating part of dealing with these things online, isn't it?
Yeah. It is really.
Hold on a second. My computer's just going a little slow. I'm pulling it up right now for you to check the status and the price. I'm just curious. How soon are you looking to buy?
We're not sure. We're really right now. We're just kind of looking.
Cool. Yeah, and you got to start out looking. And are you looking in any other areas besides, central San Diego?
Yeah, no, I think we really kind of like San Diego. That Old Town area is real nice. We like that area.
Yeah, Old Town's great. And how many bedrooms are you guys looking for?
We're looking for at least 4, but hey, look, man, I don't want to waste a lot of your time. I just really want to know the price on this thing.
Okay, no, totally. Sorry, my computer's going slow. It is coming up right here. So 123 Main Street. It looks like it is 575,000. It is still available. Did you want to set up a time to see that? Actually, you know what? Let's see here. Let me just check the showing instructions. Yeah, no, it is available. Do you want to set up a time to see that either? Want to do tomorrow at 2, or is after, maybe later in the evening, would be better for you guys?
2 o'clock actually would work well for us. Would you mind just opening that up for us real quick?
Yeah. 2 o'clock tomorrow is fine. And I never like to step on anyone's toes. Do you guys have a real estate agent that's been helping you with the search so far?
Yeah, no. I mean, we've talked to a couple, but we don't have an agent.
Okay, yeah, perfect. I just don't like to step on anyone's toes. And you know what? This house on 123 Main Street, it really is a pretty amazing house. But just in case this isn't the right one, I can also get you. I have an idea. I can get you access to, bank foreclosures, short sales, off-market properties, basically all the best deals. Oftentimes before they're on the MLS. You'll know about them before anyone else. It's totally free. There's no obligation. Do you think that might help you get a good deal?
So are you saying that not all the properties that are for sale are on the MLS?
Absolutely, that's the case. I would say most properties do end up making it to the MLS. It's rare that a property sells, but there are some that sell without ever going on the MLS. And the idea here is really more about speed. You need to, if a property is priced well, if you've already been looking online and you've kind of noticed that sometimes it says they're available and they're not, right? Remember you said you've been kind of frustrated with that?
Yeah.
The whole idea is that we want to make sure you have access to properties that match your specific criteria before anyone else as soon as possible, because they sell quickly, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, it seems like every time we're interested in a property, it's gone before we even get a chance to write an offer.
Yeah. So you know what? So tell you what, I'm happy to show you this property tomorrow too, but it sounds like we should probably spend about 10, 15 minutes together just going over your criteria. Making sure I know exactly what you're looking for. That way we can get you dialed in to find out about these properties oftentimes before they hit the MLS. Does that sound helpful?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. If we could just start by just taking a look at this one and then kind of take it from there, I think that'd be more comfortable for us.
Of course we can. Like I said, I'm happy to show you this house. We will absolutely be showing you this house tomorrow too. And if you don't want to talk about any other properties, we do not have to. I will not waste your time. It just sounded like you were getting a little frustrated with the process and looking online, and I find that most of the clients that we end up working with, they talk to a number of other agents, they look online, and I'm not saying anything negative about any other agents. There are some phenomenal agents out there, right? You just want to find someone that you connect with, that you feel really comfortable with, who can guide you to finding a good deal on the house that works for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, so we'll get together tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and I will... if anything comes up between now and then, here's my cell phone number. Give me a buzz, blah, 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 and we'll see you then.
So let me ask you another. So there's actually another one that we looked at that's right around. It's listed with a different agent, though. Can you show us that one too?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I can show you that one. What's the address on that one?
That one's 125 Main Street.
125 Main Street, perfect. And is there anything else in the neighborhood that you've been kind of had your eye on?
Yeah, I mean we've seen a couple, but they look like they might be a little small for us. But I mean, if you've got anything else in the area, then that's right around that same price range, then I might be interested in that.
Yeah, and tell me, how many bedrooms did you say you needed?
We need at least 4.
At least 4 bedrooms. All right, so same price range, 4 bedrooms in the same area. Yeah, I'll take a look. There's probably a couple others that will fit. So we will. I'll show you 123 and 125 Main Street tomorrow. And then if there's a couple other in the area that's a fit as well, we can happily take a look at those.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Sounds good. We'll see you then.
Perfect. See you then. So
all right.
I actually jumped. I have another question at the end. And when you just kind of, it's funny because rarely are people as closed off as you were in that role play. By the time you get to that.
I was doing that on purpose, by the way.
Yeah. And so anyone watching, if you get someone like that on the phone, just back off. Right? He already agreed to meet with you. You can do everything else in person. I wanted to talk about what we call our gold brick, just purely so people could hear it on the recording. But if you were a real person, I probably wouldn't have even said that. The whole part about getting you access to bank-owned homes, I could tell you were kind of closed off and you weren't going to open up to me. There was very little I was going to do on this phone call that actually probably would have hurt me if it was a real person. I would have gotten the appointment, I would have found out that you were not committed to another realtor, and I would have showed up and met you. And that would have been it. It would have been that short. I just want people to say, if the whole reason that if someone is not that closed off, then you just open it up to talking about other properties, because it makes it a much easier transition. I would have actually changed the appointment to meet you at a Starbucks around the corner from this property. If you didn't want to go to Starbucks, you don't want me to buy you a cup of coffee, then I probably would have just told you, hey, buy a cup of coffee. If not, I would have said, all right, well, let's just meet at the property if it's vacant, and I'll do my buyer presentation right in the property. I don't tell you I'm doing a buyer presentation, but that's kind of what that's why you want to open it up to talk about properties first, so that when your agent walks in, you're not blindsiding with, hey, by the way, you know you like this one, but we got another one, huh? Right?
Yeah, well, exactly. But but at the same time, I love when you start when you have somebody that you're not. Again, let me back up. If you're able to get the appointment right away, done, move on, set the appointment, go on the appointment, deal with everything from there. That's the very best thing.
That's it. Yeah. That's why, for the sake of role play for this, video, right. I went further than I would have in real life. When I felt your resistance, as soon as you agreed to meet me, and the only thing I want to know is, do you have another realtor you're working with?
Right.
And on that question, if you give me any answer other than yes, I'm committed to someone, like your answer was so non-committal, we tell this to people, or no, I'm really, I'm gonna let it go right there. You don't have an agent. I'm not stealing anyone's client. But if you would have said, yeah, we've got this person we really like, we're just out of town this weekend, then use your judgment. The question, I never want to steal anyone's client. We work hard for our clients, so my goal is not to steal someone's client. If someone's had a bad experience with their agent, will I take over? Absolutely, all day long. But I will ask them, are you 100% committed to working with that agent? And the reason you say it that way is because no one likes to be 100% committed to anything, right? So if they really are committed, they're like, yeah, I've used this guy for years, he's really good, he's just out of town, and can you just open up the door for me? Yeah, sure, right? Yep. But then at least I know going into it, like if it's not my listing, no, I actually won't go do it.
Right.
But if it's my listing, yeah, sure, we'll open up the door for you. Totally respect that you have an agent, no problem.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And by the way, on the question, I like the question of who is your real estate agent instead of do you have one. And the reason I'll say who instead of do you is because I generally get a more honest response when I say who. And what I don't want them to do, I don't want to back them in a corner and have them in a position of having lied to me, and now they've got to unwind a lie to choose to do business with me. And so
I might play a week on that script and see how it goes. I like it.
Split test that. I'd love to hear your results. I know you're good at split testing stuff. So, because we've got a few minutes left, so there's a couple other things that I want to make sure that we touch on before we wrap up. You're getting a ton of people signed on buyer agency agreements, and you're using a buyer intake form, and I believe that buyer intake form has a big part. That's right. There it is right there. So talk to us about the buyer intake form and about getting people from appointment to I'm signed on a buyer agency agreement. Again, folks, he's got 41 people right this minute. In addition to the 81 other people you're working with on the buyer side, but 41 in addition to that are signed on a buyer agency agreement right now. So go ahead, Jesse.
So the biggest part about using this form, so I have a team of sales agents that work with me, and when we were playing with this, we went through a few different versions. At first, we weren't having anybody. No buyers were signing buyer broker agreements. We were like, if they just want to work with you, cool, let's just do it. And then I made it optional. Hey guys, you want to sign a buyer broker agreement with clients? Maybe try it out. And then we realized, no, you must get a buyer to sign a buyer broker agreement. And here is why. It's not about getting them to sign this contract so that you can obligate them to you to buy a house. It's not so that you can chase them later if they don't use you and sue them for a commission. That is not why. You are creating an opportunity for either education or just to understand where your client's at to see if they want to truly use you to buy a house. That is it. That's the whole reason to use them. And so the buyer intake form that Michael now has, and he'll make sure you guys can get a copy of that somehow. Basically, the whole idea of it is just to walk them through from initial appointment to getting a buyer agency agreement signed. But that's just the byproduct. What you're really trying to do is to deeply connect with the client, to truly understand what they're looking for, understand their needs, and then at the end, it's just the next logical step is that, oh yeah, I totally want to hire you. Sign whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's not a hard sale to get this thing signed. It's just the next logical step is, great, we take care of paperwork, and then we go look at houses. The form is broken down where you start off with a quick overview, you tell them what you're going to do, and then you go do it, right? So that it starts off with easy questions. You just want to know all about the home they're looking for. Just like Michael's, your 44-step listing checklist. You begin your 37-minute listing presentation, which, by the way, thank you. I still use your 37-minute listing presentation. It takes me about an hour and two because I like to talk more than you apparently. But I use your exact format on every listing I go on, so thank you. Anyway, it's you're just going to get into rapport. And the easiest way to get in rapport is to ask people to talk about themselves, right? Mm-hmm. You're really sticking about the home because that's what you're there about. But if you lapse into a little bit of forward family occupation, recreation, dreams, it's not bad at that point. You just don't even, people are happy to talk about their home. By the end of asking them these simple questions, you should be at a pretty deep level of rapport. At that point in time, you go over, nice to haves, what they want, and you talk about their time frame. Then you go over, what will buying this home do for you? You find out their motivation. From there, you talk about today's buying process, which then transitions from you asking them questions to you talking just a little bit about yourself. And by that point in time, it should lead logically to, oh, great, we love you. You got any questions before we start working on the paperwork? I didn't shake my head, did I, Michael? I'm so used to doing it. Do you have any questions before we start working on the paperwork? That is absolutely, by the way, my favorite closing line ever that you taught me. How many years ago was that? When I was first coaching with you, 5 years?
5 or 6? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And on my team, you know what their favorite closing question is?
I have
that one.
That's it.
I try to make them come up with other closes. I try to make them come up with other ones, and everyone just goes, do you have any questions before we take care of the paperwork? That's it. That's their favorite one. It's so easy, and it makes so much sense.
It does. It does.
What questions do you have about that buyer process, the intake form?
Well, I think that really does. I think what I'd like to do, because we're out of time today, so I think what I'd like to do is at another point in time, I think you and I need to go specifically real deep on that form. I think that would be really helpful to people watching this video. So, Jesse, why don't you and I, maybe when we're at the mastermind, I know we've got a mastermind coming up that you and I are both, or at some point, let's do a video, let's do an interview on specifically that form, role play it, show people how it works.
And I'm totally into that. I think taking some time to go into depth on that. I think also doing another call, like you said, on profitability, ROI. I mean, you've helped me with so many things in my business, not to make you blush, but the thing that I hate the most, but yet I love the most, is when you tell me ways I'm leaving money on the table or spending too much and not getting my ROI. And that's why I've kept coaching with you for so many years. Honestly, it's because you are able to look at my business, and I don't know how you do it on such a regular basis where I look at this stuff every day, and in like 10 minutes, you're like, dude, you're totally dropping the ball. This is where you're screwing it up. So anyway, yeah, happy to, I think, talking about profitability, ROI, really good things we should talk about also.
We should. Yeah, let's do that. Absolutely. Well, Jesse Zagorski, the man, and I hope that everybody got as much value out of today as I did. And by the way, another thing that we'll talk about on a subsequent call together with Jesse is your client concierge program, which is unique. It's awesome. Unfortunately, we're out of time today, so we don't have time to talk about that. So stay tuned. And there may already be on the page that you're watching this video on, there may already be a link to some of these other discussions, that Jesse and I are talking about doing at a subsequent time. So watch for that. And Jesse, any concluding thoughts as we wrap up?
No, just want to say thank you, and everyone watching, just keep focusing on your clients. And Michael, thanks for helping me make my business kick butt. Seriously, dude, really appreciate it.
No, you're the man. Hey, seriously, the pleasure's all mine, really. And so, folks, if you've got a great referral to send to San Diego, shoot it Jesse's way. Jesse, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Email me or call me, or text me. Send me a carrier pigeon. You want to put it up on the screen? My info?
Go ahead. What's the best number to email, to call you at or email you at? How do you?
Call me, text me, 858-525-2991. That is my cell phone. I really do answer my call. I really do take text messages. Text me, call me. You can send me an email, but I only check it twice a day. So you want a quicker answer, just call me or text me.
Fantastic. And if you guys didn't get that, you can always reach out to me at michael@clubwealth.com, and I will certainly connect you with Jesse. So anyway, have an awesome day, everybody. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Jesse, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here with us. We really love you. We appreciate you. And folks, remember, and I say this all the time, and I want you guys to know that I'm really sincere when I say this. Inside every single one of you is a world-class person just dying to come out if they already aren't out. Like with Jesse, you are world-class. Own it and live it and let that world-class individual shine. Have a great day, everybody.